And a warm welcome to all of you. Thank you for joining me here today. And it looks like we're going to make a quick shift here. Very good. Thanks for joining us, whether you're watching from any one of our Facebook pages, YouTube or Vimeo channel, or on our website, for another live episode here of Conversations with Michael. We are once again streaming live from our home studio. Today it's a beautiful sunny day in the Willamette Valley in the state of Oregon. Perfect time to come together and share another message here from Michael. We offer these free monthly sessions really in service to all of you who have made a really incredible choice to have a human soul experience here on earth. One that shifts our reliance from a polarized dualistic system of reality to one that acknowledges and allows the presence of the original self. It's been called many names. We prefer the original self in the form of your soul to now be a part of your life as a human being. We know that's not the most popular choice on the planet for a variety of reasons. So it's an honor for us to be of service by offering a variety of heart-based programs, services that are all designed to serve the sovereign nature of your soul and your human identity. Let's take a collective deep breath as we begin today's session. And if you are new to our work, I openly share a relationship I have with a non-physical being known as Michael or Michael. Michael works with a variety of different groups and individuals, but with Ancient Wings, his message is for those that have chosen to take complete responsibility for their own creations. And that, in and of itself, is pretty rare here on this planet. Actually, it's pretty rare off the planet too. Because it's just so much easier to point fingers, to try to make yourself feel right by making others wrong. Michael considers that a type of mental disease. And I would agree with him, having done that much of my life too. Unfortunately, it's become the norm. You see it everywhere you go. It's also incredibly pervasive inside the spiritual community, making someone's truth right by making others wrong. You know, countless wars have been fought based on this very perspective, on and off of this planet. So a lot of time and energy has gone into trying to change our reality on this planet, inspired by a variety of different beings, all with their own unique state of consciousness. And I can tell you, if you're not already feeling it, Michael gets really, really excited whenever it's time to share our relationship with all of you. Because this is a new era we are creating, both for ourselves and with each other. There's just so many new potentials that are just waiting to be put into action, both from those of us whose job, so to speak, is to simply shine our light, acting as supports for the millions of human beings who are bringing to this planet so many incredible new ideas, offering a variety of new ways to experience life as a human being. It can be really challenging to be the observer and not one of those that are actively creating these new potentials. So how does shining your light actually support itself? Because it might feel or appear that this is a really passive approach. Michael's going to talk about that today. As we've said many times, not all of humanity will celebrate this shift. Not all will view the massive shifts to robotics and technology as being an improvement over what has been the norm for thousands and thousands of years. Not all will trust that humanity has the consciousness to ensure that this emerging wave of technology doesn't end up choosing for us. And here you are, all of us, viewing all of this while sitting in the best seats in the house. You have no idea how many non-physical beings would trade places with you in a blink of an eye to experience this shift up close and personal. So Michael has been encouraging us to view these changes from his own unique perspective. Kind of like an eagle flying high above the earth, while also feeling connected, grounded to our physical surroundings. It's not easy to do, but it can be done. When you're viewing your life at ground level, so to speak, our perspective doesn't always allow for the bigger picture. But you really don't need to be psychic to see what's coming. You can follow just about any scientific journal to find countless ongoing developments and all sorts of new inventions, all of which have the potential of having a major impact on how we experience being human. So the way I view this shift has more to do with relying on our own creativity and energy to support whatever we want to experience, which has a profound impact on how we view ourselves, because it moves us away from needing to be called consumers. The need to extract energy outside of us to support us we've been, as a human species, been extracting raw materials from this planet for a very, very long time. So just imagine all of our forests remaining untouched because we no longer need to rely on trees when nanotechnology can print whatever we need for us. It's all going to take a while for all this to unfold. And a lot of people will need to develop a lot of new job skills. But let's be real. The human spirit has taken quite the beating over all these lifetimes. But thanks to all those that have walked this path that included the soul during their own lifetime, the future looks really, really bright, at least from my perspective. That's not to say that there won't be days when it might not really look that way. The type of transition that impacts billions of people, it's not so easy to accept at face value. It's not. When the norm for most of humanity has been to rely on whatever support you can find outside of yourself. Always looking for that missing piece outside of you. Within a human soul experience, our trust in ourself and our compassion for our human family will help to provide the underlying support humanity has been missing for so long. So I want to thank all of you. I want to say it again. Thank you. Truly. Because I know too how difficult it is to walk away from a very, very old story when it's been the only story playing for a very long time. So on that note, let's take a quick peek at some of the upcoming events, as we always do during conversations with Michael, before we turn this over to Michael. And of course, feel free to visit our website anytime for more information. And this is a landmark live stream for me because at the same time, almost at the same time, Coca for the first time was also live streaming on Facebook. So big moment for us here. About to have some water thrown at me, but that's part of the deal. And if for whatever reason, if you're not able to access our website in your country, wherever you might live, Some countries block the information we're sharing and the network that we work with. You can get around that by just using a virtual private network, or what many just call a VPN service. They're accessible to anybody on the internet, and they're actually very reasonably priced. You might find too that your current internet service might already offer such an option free of charge. Let's take another collective deep breath as I once again shift this over to Michael. Indeed. Greetings, my friends. It is I, Michael, in service to the heart of creation. Let's take another deep breath. Because I never saw any potential whatsoever of Coca live streaming, but this is big news to all of us on my side of the veil. We've been talking a lot of late through Robert about this shift that is taking place on this planet. It's a shift that isn't happening to you by any outside influences. There's no being outside of you that is imposing this change in consciousness. If this is indeed all about consciousness, the change had to start within yourself. And perhaps that is why it has taken so long. Our original cosmic story placed the original self outside of us. That story has dominated the affairs of all beings for a very, very long time. During that time, a lot of agendas have developed within a lot of different groups and spiritual families. You have experienced all of that firsthand here on Earth. And because of that, most of humanity believes that the reason you are here is because you must have fallen from an ascended state of consciousness that exists somewhere out there in the stars. All creation fell from our original innocence when we perceived the original self as being outside of us. Let's take another deep breath there. Because all of you came here to this planet to be of service, really to reclaiming this natural state. And those that awaken to that awareness in your past, they had a really, really hard time staying on the planet. So they ascended and now serve all of you from a very different perspective. But never before has a group of souls inside of this human experience gone through their own awakening and chose to stay in a human form. And if you're hearing this version of creation for the first time, while relying on a more, traditional view, what we are presenting here today more than likely doesn't fit inside of that story. And because of that, it makes some of you that have fully awakened feel both elated and a little uncomfortable. Being that you represent, as a physical human being, a living example of what many believe is only possible once you leave this planet. So as we share that perspective with those of you watching today's live stream, we invite you right now to feel into that lack of trust that you might also be feeling as it relates to your previous lifetimes. Let's do that together. Feel deep inside of you this lack of trust in you. And then let's accept it for what it is without getting entangled in it. And let's allow another truth to now support you. A truth that suggests you've never done anything wrong. Very good. So as this experience, which allows your soul to coexist inside your body with your human personality, continues to grow inside of you, there really aren't too many living examples from your past that can reassure you that all is indeed well. So for now, you're relying on the words from beings such as myself. But that will never be enough. The only way you can actually know what we know as being your own truth is when your human personality allows the presence of your soul to be present inside your body. Thousands of people, as we speak, have allowed such beautiful and cooperative blending to now form a new identity as a human. The moth finally transcended into a butterfly. For them, the moth, which represents your human personality, turned into a beautiful butterfly. Oh, the moth has tried countless times to become this butterfly by itself, but it has failed every single lifetime, every single time. So it created substitute versions of the butterfly in order to maintain control of its own identity. Because it could clearly see that at any time, life can just happen to you. So this butterfly, this new identity, represents a very unique state of consciousness. It knows, without knowing how it knows, that life happens because of you. And as this dualistic perspective continues to slowly unwind inside your own human experience, many human beings begin to realize that they're stuck. So you've tried countless ways to get rid of this personality, the moth, in order to take flight as a butterfly. You have projected the conflicted energies that support this moth, the human personality, into the lives of people all around you, hoping that others could process all those conflicted feelings inside their own body for you, in service to you. You've tried not being fully present by placing one foot in your body and the other in the etheric realms, hoping that would get you closer to feeling more like the butterfly, only to discover that what you didn't like about being human also exists out there in the stars. You tried chanting your way out of here, You tried rapid fire breathing techniques. You tried praying for hours with the hope that someone out there might be listening. Well, all this time, the only reason you exist on this planet was to discover a way out of feeling separated from your own innocence. And then some of you did. A lot of you did last year. Simply by choosing to be fully present as a physical human being. And many on our side of the veil, within the etheric realms, applauded such a choice. Many of you looked within. And by looking within, you also found something very precious, your innocence. It wasn't hiding. You just didn't notice it. With so much drama in your life. That drama took on many, many forms. It helped to distract you from feeling all those unresolved emotions. It also distracted you from feeling your innocence. So upon this discovery, the easiest thing to do would have been to own it and then to leave this planet as an ascended being. But you didn't, did you? With your innocence now at the front of your life, you realize there is nothing you have ever experienced that was wrong, ever. Through the eyes of this original self, right and wrong don't exist. So this awareness radically changed your perspective. Big time. No longer was the moth calling all the shots. You were now the butterfly. But by staying on this planet, you were also kind of the moth at the same time. Both now coexisting inside this sort of awkward and at times really uncomfortable new experience, both for the butterfly and the moth. Most of you that have been following our teaching, we get it. You want more than anything to become the butterfly. Your life feels stuck, playing the part of the moth, repeating the same old story, self-judgment, self-incrimination, doubt, and then giving voice to that as if that's your truth. You've heard us say over and over again, this transition can only be allowed. So many of you have spent years trying to figure out from the moth's perspective what that actually means. And then how to apply allowing to your own life. And when we say you're already doing it, allowing, simply by allowing your human body to breathe, you've got to acknowledge that. That's huge. Because without the breath, game's over, folks. But the most common response to that is not one that is filled with appreciation and joy. For the most part, it's filled with a lot of anger. Oh, there's nothing wrong with anger. It's actually a very beautiful way to move a lot of energies. But in this case, you're angry because you've become really addicted to playing this game that has you feeling all alone on this planet. You have endured and tolerated lifetimes of abuse and disrespect. And from your perspective, somebody has to pay for all that. But the price you're paying by playing inside of this game called karma is it's you and only you that keeps paying the price. The moth, my friends, has one or two agendas. It doesn't particularly want a roommate called your soul and its body with it. And it doesn't truly trust in the deal that is being offered from your soul. Unlimited, unconditional support for all that you experience as a human being, all for free. No interest payments, no loans, completely free. All you have to do, dear moth, is allow the butterfly to coexist. And if that is a problem, unlimited support without any agenda, we get it. Maybe next lifetime. Maybe this isn't your lifetime. Maybe it is time to let go of this human experience and try it again next lifetime. There's no blame, there's no judgment. But for those of you that are feeling stuck inside this moth persona, we see something stirring inside of you. You've grown a lot more agitated. You've become really, really tired. In fact, you can't stand one more day experiencing life inside the story of the moth by itself. Because inside that story, you already know what tomorrow brings. That was supposed to bring you safety. But now it feels like it's just more of what you lack today. And that no longer feels safe. And the day before. And the day before that. My friends, if this resonates with you, it's because you're dead bored. Or is the boredom making you feel dead to life? Let's take a deep breath there. Because when you acknowledge this, then the good stuff begins to really happen. You ask once again, how do I allow the presence of this innocent butterfly into my life, Michael? I must have missed a part. Tell me once again. But then I must ask you again. My friends, are you really, really ready to let go of pretending that you're not the butterfly? And let's just sit with that for a few moments. Are you really ready to let go of pretending that you're not this butterfly? Take a deep breath. Is this really the time for you? Or have you had enough of playing the game called lack? Lack of trust, lack of self-respect, lack of self-worth, speaking about yourself by incriminating yourself, judging yourself, belittling yourself, is that really you? Because the bad news, my friends, is that you can't bring that game with you. You can't bring that truth with you. You can't bring that voice with you. If you want your freedom. So it's natural for the moth to ask, "Dear Michael, how do I stop playing that game?" Well, it's actually really easy. You choose to play another one. You choose to be a part inside another story. Almost all of you that are listening here today understand this intellectually. Great concept. You embrace it as that. And if this shift, Robert, not shit, if this shift to unlimited support could happen in a blink of an eye, well, then probably 95% of you would say yes to it right now. But the butterfly is also one that takes full and complete responsibility for its own creations. Shifting from the only known reality, duality, to one that does not separate the light from the dark. That's a very delicate, thoughtful, and loving creation. Brute force won't work here. There must be a great deal of compassion. So initially, one of the most potent ways for the moth to allow the presence of the butterfly is just to be grateful for the opportunity, to be thankful for the unconditional support, without knowing how your soul will actually support your life. So we invite the butterfly to wake up each day. We invite the moth to wake up each day feeling like a child on Christmas Day, excited to be a part of what begins to unfold, what begins to manifest. That in and of itself would be a huge shift for the moth. It's been supporting itself all these lifetimes, feeling more or less depressed. Any feelings of joy left, well, a long, long time ago. So this shift from the moth to the butterfly won't happen overnight for most of you, although it could if you really allowed it. But even if the promised butterfly never appeared, dear moth, isn't this still a win-win for you? Was trading depression for joy of any value whatsoever? You see, the butterfly just doesn't dance very well with a lack of joy. But if the moth is willing to play with feeling just a little more joy, a little more excitement, that does allow your soul to dance with the moth. In time, it's no longer the moth's responsibility to create how you want to experience life, how you want to feel. The joy of being the butterfly is enough in and of itself. It's time, my friends. You know it is. It's time to set lack free and allow the presence of your soul to support this human experience. To the human identity, to the moth, to that human personality, just do your part. When was the last time any being offered you something free of charge, without any conditions, with no agendas? Do your part and begin to appreciate what is being offered, and then act accordingly. Feel blessed because you are being blessed. The good news: the moth persona just won the lottery. But somehow it doesn't look very good. If you're still complaining that unlimited support is still not enough, you want more. But what you're really craving, dear moth, is more drama. Like an addict, you just need one more fix. Or is this the day, perhaps, that you declare enough is enough? This is getting embarrassing. This is the day where you spread your arms wide. Begin to feel the presence of the butterfly blending with this human experience. Breathe with this, my friends. It's time to reclaim your innocence. We know, you know, your human identity has been blamed for everything. Growing up, you were told countless times to not do this and not do that. You endured being blamed for a number of failures in your life, including the failures in other people's life. So many things that you did that was wrong. So now this innocent version of you, it just shows up. We get it. It's really hard for the human to accept that such a presence is actually real, given your story. When you've been beating yourself up in the ways that you've been beaten up most of your life. Your past is healed, my friends, when you allow this innocent version to now support the human, to also serve the human, and for the human to serve it. And then, and only then, will you truly feel your freedom. Only then will you truly feel the relief you've been working so hard to achieve. Now is that time. The innocent version of you accepts the human just as it is. No blame, no judgments. It just seems too good to be true. But it's here right now. Breathe it in. And then take flight as the butterfly, free of all this guilt and shame you inherited. Free of talking about yourself as anything but magnificent. All my blessings, dear ones.